welcome to HoopSpeak Live. I'm your host, Beckley Mason. With me is Zach, the metaphor machine Harper, and our guest host stepping in for Ethan Sherwood-Strauss, Tom Haberstroh. You're going to have to give us your middle name if you're going to step in for Ethan.
I've got two.
Two?
What?
Is one of them Mark?
Yes.
That's not efficient.
Nice.
Thomas William Kalakis Haberstroh, four-namer.
Kalakis. That is the Greek in
Yes.
us, I assume.
That is the Greek in me. It's actually my blood last name. My dad got adopted into Haberstroh, so I'm actually Thomas Kalakis. Changes things up a bit.
I like that. A rhyming name would have made you a lot more famous a lot quicker, but I guess,
Wow.
hindsight is 20/20 on that one. So we have an
Yeah.
NBA
Ooh,
season
Dad.
coming up in a couple days, and that's really cool. But in the meantime, we do have a lot of reading to get through, including 9 gajillion words from Tom Haberstroh about how awesome Eric Spoelstra is, essentially, and how he's willing to try new things this whole offseason. How did you get into this story? How did you find out about it? Spoelstra and Riley are usually not very talkative. How did you get them going on this?
Well, actually, there's no real secret about it at all. They've been kind of talking about it over the past couple months to the media, but there are bits and pieces that rose to the surface, and I just kind of connected the dots. And I kept in touch with Eric Spoelstra over the summer because of all the guys in the NBA, I thought he would be the most, I guess, I wouldn't say suicide watch, but considering that he lost the finals and he was facing a season without the big three and the Heat with the lockout, and considering he was on an expiring deal at the end of the season, I thought he was kind of just wanted to check in on him. So, I touched base with him, and I knew that he had seen these coaches, but until I saw this team on Sunday, I didn't know quite to the extent of how much he was going to get this in there. The high-octane offense, the spread offense from Chip Kelly. And so basically, I had to write this story.
Yeah, so the Heat have been doing some interesting things already in the preseason. We saw them pressing, which I thought was really cool because if you are going against the shot clock against the Heat, that's kind of their defense, right, is to run faster around the perimeter, trap, and make you move away from what you want to do so that at the end of the shot clock, you have to make a decision, you have to take a bad shot, deflections happen. If they're pressing, and if it's not like a super hard press, there's this idea that will force them to, or their opponents, when I say them, to take, maybe 8 seconds off the clock when it would have been 5. And all of a sudden, teams have 3 less seconds to try to get a shot off against a swarming defense. Do you think that this is something that's going to go forward? Have you had a chance to talk to any of the players or Spoelstra about this?
Well, what's interesting is that last year Spoelstra coined this term called a skirmish, and essentially it's what the Heat like to call when they basically create chaos on the defense and turnover. And I think this is just an extension of that, is that Eric Spoelstra looked at the film over the offseason and said, we want to create more havoc in the half court, we want to create more havoc in the full court, and take advantage and capitalize on our athleticism. So this, I think, is an extension of that. Is it going to really carry through the whole season? I don't know. This is, the preseason still, and I think he was still in the laboratory, so to speak. And I think it's just fascinating that this Heat team next year could look so much different than it was this time last year. So much different.
Tom, I'm not a smart man, but how does one learn about things to do with basketball when you're talking to a football coach?
Well, it's sports. It's like, you could talk to an economist about game theory. It's just weird. It is a weird concept that a guy who is an NBA head coach, okay, he's one of the 30 best people in the world at what he does. You can make an argument about college coaches and certain high school coaches, but basically he is the cream of the crop, and yet he has to go to another sport to have this eureka moment. where it all comes together. And it is fascinating. But I know there are going to be people out there who looks at this and says, "Oh, he's terrible. How could he not know this already? He needs Chip Kelly, with a visor on to tell him that, the Heat are really should be
fans.
athletic and fast." And yeah, Laker fans or Cleveland fans, either one. So
I'd like
basically,
to see Spoelstra wearing a visor on the sideline.
I don't know, the hair gel plus visor
one of those
look.
tax guy
I don't
visors?
know.
Oh yeah. Frost the tips, push it up with the visor brim. This is his look. It needs to happen.
Is he like suddenly on TRL in like 1999? Like I don't know. So
DJ Scribble.
So yeah, basically it is weird that it's strange at first when you think that Eric Spoelstra like figured it out by talking to a football coach, but it does make sense that hey, going fast might be a really cool idea.
Sure, and I think that people learn via metaphors and connections and associations, so it makes sense to me. Nice. I'm really excited to see. This is something we hoped we were going to see last year, creating broken plays. Broken plays lead to fast breaks. Fast breaks lead to awesome dunks in people's faces. That's what everyone pays to see or gets to see on the free preview. And hopefully we'll see a little bit of it on ESPN, or is it on ABC on Saturday?
I have no idea what it's on. I'm supposed to be the company man,
You will
but
be
I
there
have
in person.
literally... So I have no idea. I really
it's on
don't
ABC.
know. But I'll be watching the Spurs this year instead of the Miami Heat.
Interesting. Why is that?
They're way more exciting. No, I'm just kidding. Isn't that the team that you love, Beckley?
I do love the Spurs. Yeah, I think they're really fascinating to watch.
Beckley doesn't have a team.
Actually, Manny didn't have a team. Neither do you. You have two teams, and neither of them love you. They both hate you by playing awful basketball all the time.
What
I'd
two
rather be
teams?
adopted by awesome teams than have two parents that beat me in nonstop. Like
What
yours
two
do.
teams? Who's the second team?
The Kings.
I hate the Kings.
Yeah, but you kind of love the Kings.
No, I've always rooted against them.
You've rooted against them. Oh, I didn't realize that, Mr.
Often, my entire
You're
life.
in the
Yeah.
Cowbell Kingdom. The king of the Cowbell
It was a
Kingdom
lie.
hates the Kings.
It was a lie.
That is a bunch of malarkey.